Is it in the full now?
Yep.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Okay. Thanks, Anil, for this opportunity. And hello, everyone. As Anil said, myself, Vikas Sharma. And today I'll be speaking about Dataroma with my good friend Shatul Khandelwal. Me and Shatul are working together in an Salesforce consulting company, which is based out of US and have various offices across India. Me and Shatul have worked together on a couple of Datorama implementation projects and gathered all the knowledge we have, and we have done some certifications as well. And happy to hear to share whatever knowledge we have gained so far with all the community members. So let's get into it. So this is our agenda. We'll be talking about, we'll give you an overview of the Salesforce Datorama, and then we'll talk about the key pillars of Datorama, which are connect and unify, analyze and report, and act and collaborate. And then at the end, we'll also quickly walk you through a quick demo jam, just to give you a look and feel of how the platform looks like, what is the look and feel, what all you can do in the platform. And then we'll help you with some guidance how you can take it forward from here as well. Okay, so when we talk about marketing these days, we primarily talk about the digital marketing, because as Anil said, with this pandemic, everything went digital overnight. Maybe we were ready, maybe we were not, but then this pandemic pushed us to go on digital, and then all the organizations are moving towards their digital implementations, enhancing their digital capabilities, and marketing is no separate department. It is also going through its digital journey. So the key challenges which seasonal marketer facing these days: first, know your customer. So when we say know your customer, so that means since now we are dealing with a lot of digital channels, know your customer means is collecting data from across all the channels we are dealing with, and then profiling and analyzing that data so that we can profile our customer across channels, that who our customer are and what they like. Second challenge is personalized customer journey. So it's not that era where you send one email to customer and then you are free that the customer will gonna buy from you. Now the current customer is also going through a digital transformation journey, and we have to be with our customer as a marketer at each and every step throughout his journey, from the very first day when the customer shows his interest till the time we deliver him the product and the post sales support. So we have to be continuously in touch with the customer. And then there was a saying earlier that right content at right time. I always like to call it personalized content at right time. So you have to engage with the customer throughout the cycle, and you have to engage with the personalized content at very particular time that will going to enhance the customer experience. So these are the two pillars of marketers, or two challenges of marketers, which we were always in the focus for past some time now. But the third challenge these days is coming is marketing insights and analytics. So we are doing a lot of marketing initiative. We are meeting to the customer. We are we are doing the touch point with customer across a lot of channels, and the latest systems are collecting a lot of data across those channels. But what do we do out of that data? We are collecting that data, but if we are not making any use of that data, then we are not fully utilizing or optimizing our marketing initiative. There is a lot of value which we might be missing on. So there is a third pillar in the marketers domain right now is marketing insights and analytics, which means we have to know more about our market. We have to know more about our customer, and that we can do only via drilling down all the data we are capturing across all the channels in our marketing initiatives. So these are the three challenges of the digital marketer these days. And it is not getting any easier. If I talk about the journey of a digital marketer, if we talk about 10 to 15 years back, there were hardly hundreds of channels which we were dealing with. So if I go back 10, 15 years back, I think Orkut is the only social media platform which most of us might have heard about. A lot of people were not even on the Orkut, but very few were on the Orkut. We never heard of any other social media channel. And then email was always there. Then LinkedIn was there. So there were very few channels, the marketers interacting with the customer. Then with the development, we came into the hundreds more 100 channels. The Facebook came in, and then we saw the starting journey of the Instagram. WhatsApp was there. So now the channels are channels increased. Then I think 3 to 4 years back, there was a huge rush into the social media. Every month, every year, hundreds of channels were releasing every day. We saw TikTok, we saw LinkedIn advanced features. The Twitter was more famous than ever. So the channel was keep on increasing. And now, if I talk about today, I think a marketer has more than 5,000 marketing channels where they can, get in touch with the customer. So as these marketing channels are increasing, the problem or the challenge with the marketer is also increasing. Now they have to deal with the thousands or maybe hundreds of channels, and they have to ensure that they are fully utilizing those channels. They are always on the top of their game when they are dealing with these many channels. They are collecting all the data, they are unifying that data, and then they are making insights out of data. And this does not stop here. This journey will gonna keep on increasing. So 10 years back, Orkut was in the boom. 5 years back, Facebook was in the boom. Today, Instagram, Twitter is in the boom. Maybe 3 years later, a new tool come and that could go in the boom. So every day the new channels are coming and we cannot ignore those. Like I already have 100 channels. I don't need more. No, if a new better channel is coming, we have to start preparing from it today, so that after 1 or 2 years, when the channel is at its prime, we are also ready with our prime capabilities or process to tackle that channel. So it is not getting any easier. Now the big question. So with all these channels a marketer is dealing with, the biggest business ask is, can we have a unified view of all our marketing data? So a typical B2B company is dealing with, let's say, 30 or 40 channels, and a typical B2C company or a B2C business is dealing with, let's say, 50 or 100 channels. So can we give a unified view of all the marketing data? And especially when it comes to the chief level people in your company or the senior executives, they don't have time to you look at the spreadsheets, to look at the big charts, or maybe going through the 5 different charts and five different tools and 5 different spreadsheets. They don't have time for that. All they want is a unified view of all the marketing data, marketing initiatives, so that they can take a better decision on that. So that is the biggest question every executive is asking to a seasoned marketer these days. Can we have a unified view for all the marketing data? And why we need that? So that we can identify what is the ROI on my marketing initiative. If I am doing campaigns across, let's say, 10 channels and 20 countries, from where I am getting the maximum output, where should I put? If I have $10 only, how do I spend those $10 in my marketing initiative? I want those costs to be fully optimized, fully utilized. And then third is, how do we take smart decision? Like, let's say if Facebook is not yielding that much output these days, or let's say output is not yielding, we have to take a smart decisions to move on from that channel and maybe putting more money to a channel which is yielding better output. So these are the things which executives and leadership are looking for. And then when we talk about a unified system, what are the characteristics which are required for that unified or a single source of truth system? First is transparent. The system should be transparent enough to act as a single source of truth. If you are collecting all the data from across channels in one system, the system should be transparent enough so that we can consider it, okay, whatever is in this system, we can consider it as a source of truth. Second is speed. Nobody has time to take decisions. So let's take a quick example. Let's say in this COVID times, government issues a new campaign to fight with the COVID battle. And let's say you are the marketer of a pharma company, and so your CEO comes to you and say, Vikas, we have a go-to-market product ready, which is aligned with this government policy. Okay, so market is there, product is there. All we need is a marketing initiative. Give me the best you can. Give me what segment I should follow, which campaigns I should follow, which channels I should follow, which geographical locations, which gender, which age group. So they will gonna come with so many questions. And if you're gonna tell them, okay, we have 20 channels and we have millions of rows of data. I need 3 developers who can bring that data in through customization. Then I need 2 data analytics guy who can drill down into that data. And then I need 1 Salesforce admin who can build dashboards out of that. And I need 10 days of time. There is a very high chance the CEO will gonna tell me, okay, because I give you 10 days, consider that as your notice period, because they don't have time. In 10 days, the competitor will gonna capture most of the market. So you don't have time. So speed is the second thing, where he can quickly give you insights so that you can take decisions very quickly. Third, scalability. Obviously, today you are dealing with 20 channels, but in future you will gonna go reach to a level in the business where you will be dealing with 100 channels. So your system, which is dealing with 20 channels today, has to be proactively ready for future where without a lot of efforts, it can manage those 100 channels and the system will gonna run as smooth as ever. So these are the three characteristics which we need in a system where we are doing the unification of our data. Now, we saw the challenges, we saw what we want. Datorama comes to rescue. Now, what is a Datorama? Datorama is a marketing intelligence tools which is used for reporting, visualization, do the analytics on our marketing data across the channels. And what are the core capabilities of Datorama? It has out of the box integration with the leading marketing sources. So what does that mean? So let's say Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, any sendo. So from top to bottom, whatever the marketing channels are there which are leading the industry right now, Datorama has out of the box integration with them. So with few clicks, you will be able to establish a connection between two and the data will start flowing. You don't have to put the development efforts, you don't have to put a lot of efforts, planning, requirement gathering. No, it can happen with few clicks. Second, AI drive aggregation and reporting of the industry standardized KPIs. Now, what does that mean is whenever you import any data, any marketing data in Datorama, because obviously Datorama is a marketing specialized data analytics tool. When you import any marketing data, the AI in the system is able to identify what kind of a data it is. You don't have to define that, okay, this is my ads data, this is my leads data, this is my campaign data, this is my placements data, this is my search keyword data. It will gonna understand the data on its own. Second, all the KPIs or parameters which the marketers keep an eye on, like cost per lead, cost per click, or so many KPIs which marketers deal with every day. You don't have to define those functions, those features, those KPIs in the system. They all are predefined when it comes to Datorama. Third, unification and harmonization of data. That is what we are talking about here. So let's say if you are importing data from 20 channels and you have to put a lot of effort to connect those data sources, then there is no use. That is where the Datorama comes in. It is highly capable when it comes to harmonizing and unifying the data. So how does it work is in Datorama there is a centralized data model. It contains literally all the fields a marketer can deal with, and then there are your sources. So what you have to do, you have to import the data in Datorama, and then you have to map the source data with your centralized data model, and in that also AI will gonna help you. So whenever you are importing any data, marketing data in Datorama, there is a very high chance 90% of the data will be already mapped because it understands the data. So it will be already mapped. If there are few fields which are not mapped, which you can map it manually, and then if you bring another source and again map it to the centralized data model, so those two data sources are mapped through that centralized data model, and we can do analytics across. So you can put a filter in this data source and take the insights out of the another data source. So that is the core capability of Datorama. Then the fourth is more speed to build visualization. You don't need front-end developers. You don't need any kind of data analytics core capabilities to make the visualization or the dashboards here. Everything can be done by the few clicks. And the last is cherry on the cake. As I said, 90% of the implementation can be done by out-of-the-box solutions. So more power to a non-developer.
Did we just lose Vikas?
Yes, Anil.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, let's just give him a minute. I think he should be back.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he may have lost.
No worries, no worries. Okay. So I'll just, hi everyone, this side Shatul. So I'm just gonna complete where Vikas left. Okay, so he was talking about the cherry on the cake, and I'm just gonna share the screen. Give me a second. Right.
You may have to go in the presentation.
Presentation mode. Yeah, 1 second.
Yep. Sorry, I'm here.
Right.
There was some issue with my internet. Okay. Yeah, I can take it back, Shatul. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Just give me a second. Okay, are you guys able to see my screen again?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So as I was saying, 90% of the implementation can be done by out-of-the-box solution. So we don't actually need a lot of coding experience to implement the Datorama. So let's move forward. Okay, now why Datorama? Someone can, as a marketer, whenever you suggest Datorama to any of your customer, or let's say you are a marketer of a product company and you suggest someone to why, we can buy Datorama, and it can come to you as a question, why Datorama in the first place? Or second question could be, maybe the customer or your company already has a data analytics tool like Tableau, Power BI, Einstein Analytics, and they might ask you why you want us to spend more money on Datorama, where we are trying to optimize our marketing initiatives. So that is where, Datorama has quite a core capabilities where it is differentiated from other data analytics tool. First is it is specialized in marketing intelligence. So as I said earlier, it understands marketing data. Second thing is, if I talk about any data analytics tool, let's talk about Tableau. So there is a journey through which we have to go. So let's say I am importing data from 10 channels in any data analytics tool. So there might be an out-of-the-box integration, or there might not be. So we have to build a connector which can import the data, or maybe we have to do some API customization where we can import the data into the centralized system. Then once the system is there and the data is there across channels in that system, we have to do a lot of cleanup. We have to do a lot of manual effort to make sure that the data is not duplicated, it's cleaned up. Then the third is we have to map the data across something. Either we are mapping one-to-one through across our channels, or maybe we have a centralized data model like Dataroma and we are manually mapping it to that. Then comes the later stage where we have to do a lot of ETL operations on that data. And once we are hopefully confident that we have done a good job and data should be cleaned enough, then we need an SQL query developer who can do a lot of SQL queries, because here we are not just dealing with one source, we are dealing with across sources. So we might need an SQL skill set where where we can build a queries which from one filter of one data source we can get data from the another source. So that is the SQL. And at the end we need a person who is good with building visualizations, who understands a typical data analytics analyst might not understand marketing data that much, because for him any data is data. So he might not be specialized in that level in marketing data. So that is a journey which you have to go through when you have a marketing data, but you are dealing with any other any other data analytics tool. So that is a long journey. That is where Datorama comes with a greater strength. It understands marketing data. A lot of things are out of the box, and then it is very scalable across all the marketing data. And at the end you don't need even a marketing data specialization as well. System will be able to do a lot of work for you. So that is where the Datorama ROI comes into picture, and that is how you can convince the company that it is a good decision to invest in Datorama. It might look like an expense in short run, but in long run it will definitely gonna strengthen our marketing initiatives. So now we'll talk about a little bit about how a Datorama implementation cycle goes. So over to you, Shatul.
Thank you, Vikas. You very specifically mentioned and highlighted all the challenges that marketers face. And now we are going to talk about the Datorama implementation cycle. So I'm going to talk about the 4 key foundational pillars of Datorama. After you have your data, you have your source data sources, and after you think of importing your data into the Dataroma, these are the main 4 key pillars. These are the main 4 tabs through which your data gets into play and gets into action. So I'm going to talk about them individually, and I think it would be better if we directly move to the demo part, and then I may highlight those tabs. I'll just share my screen because
Yep.
you may stop sharing. Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Okay. I hope my screen is visible.
Yep. We can see the Dataroma.
Great. Okay. So this is how the typical Dataroma screen looks like. And as I mentioned, there are these 4 important tabs on which the whole Dataroma system is based. So we have our Connect and Mix tab. We have Analyze and Act. We have the Visualization tab. We have Marketplace. I'm going to talk and walk through each of these one by one. Let's first talk about the Connect and Mix tab. So this is the tab where the data actually gets imported, the data actually gets loaded. There are several ways through which we can get our data into Dataroma, and it totally depends upon the data source. For example, if you see on the left, we have data streams here. And on data streams, we click on Add New, and you can see okay, so here are the different ways you can get your marketing data or any sort of data into Dataroma. The first one is the Total Connect. So we use Total Connect when we know that the data source or the data which we are trying to import into Dataroma is of a marketing class data. So when we know the data is of marketing type, we basically and usually use Total Connect. We don't have to do much in it. We just drag our Excel file and we directly load the data. Vikas will definitely in the next steps show how the data mapping and everything is done. I'll walk you through the different methods through which we can load the data into Dataroma. The next and very important and advanced level capability that Dataroma serves is the Light Connect. For example, we don't have a data. We have data and that doesn't really have a type. I mean, for sure, it's not of marketing type. Also, we somehow don't know what kind of a data stream it is, what kind of a data type it is. It's not a marketing type data. So in that case, we usually go for the Light Connect. Here, we can drag any kind of data and it automatically at the back end analyzes the data stream, it processes the data streams, it maps your data, it maps your individual KPIs and fields, and then it automatically provides you to build an automatic dashboard as well. So this way, your data that is not of marketing type can also be processed. So one has to not just be going for marketing kind of a data to use Dataroma. You can always go for any kind of data. And via Light Connect, you can process that. You can also have an auto smart dashboard. Another thing, yeah, we have different technical vendors as well. Here, you can see the different marketing vendors. For example, you have Facebook data, you have ad roll data, you have Amazon data. So you don't have to do anything with that. You can directly click on the vendor. You can click on the marketing or technical vendor. You just have to authenticate your source over here. It'll ask you for credentials. You can add your source and you can directly authenticate your account. And we'll have our data processing. Okay. So this is how you get your data into Dataroma. There are many out-of-the-box technical and marketing vendors available through which you can process literally any kind of data. Okay, this was how you can import your data into Dataroma. Next comes the different other functionalities that the Connect and Mix tab provides. So I'm not going to go to the data streams tab. I'll walk you through one important functionality that is Harmonization Center, right? So, okay. even after we get our data into Dataroma, there might be some places, there might be some fields which will have some null values, which might have not the right kind of a data, which might not contain the right visualization as we are expecting into a dashboard. So in that case, for that case, we have our harmonization capability that is served by Dataroma. It has different functions. For example, we have patterns, we have data classification rules, we have harmonized dimensions through which we can directly import a classification file, or we can directly create a pattern and our whole data stream will work that way. We have data classifications here, we have patterns here, we have harmonized dimensions. So this way, our whole data would be harmonized and will work according to our expectations. Then we have dimensions. For example, our marketing type of data, we have 7 or 8 dimensions. Now, for example, let's say we want to have some exclusive KPI. We want to visualize some exclusive or explicit KPIs that are not present in our data. And that is only possible via calculated dimensions or calculated measurements. And also, these are not limited to your particular data streams. This will be applicable to your whole workspace. Once you create them, and then the tension is, there's no tension of creating them again and again, or thinking that it might just be limited to one data stream. Once you create them, the whole workspace can access it. It will be applicable to your whole workspace, whichever dashboard you use. If you use that calculated measurement or dimension, you can be definitely using its functionality. So, okay. These are a few examples that later Vikas will walk you through. Then the next tab is analyze and act. Okay.
So, Shatul, sorry, it will be good if I can just pick that example right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that should
I'll just,
be good.
yeah, I'll take the screen back from here. If you can stop share.
Okay, or should I give you the control? Okay, you can share the screen.
Yeah, just perfect. Let me quickly share my screen again. Is the Datorama here now? Okay, perfect. So as Shatul mentioned, the first step in the implementation journey is the connect and mix, and that is where we bring our data in. So let's take an example. I'm going to come to connect and mix, and let's click on add new. And as Shatul said, there are prime 3 methods here through which we can get the data in. First is the marketing and technical vendors. So let's say you want to bring Facebook data in. So you have to go on the Facebook, and you can see there are out of the box connectors available for Facebook. So all you have to do is click on Facebook, and then you have to just provide your credentials here. You have to click on add new, you have to provide your credentials, and out of the box connection is established. If I go back and click on add new. So the second method is total connect. So that is where we import the data. If it is a marketing data, we know it is a marketing data, but the reason why it is, we are importing it through total connect is the source system does not have a connector available here. So let's say there is a tool called Sendoso. So if I go and search Sendoso here, I am not able to find Sendoso here. So that means Datorama does not has the capability to bring Sendoso data in the system out of the box. So now what is the solution here? I cannot just let my the marketing tool go. So what we can do is we can export the data from Sendoso in an Excel, and then we can import the data here via Excel through Total Connect. But since it's a marketing data and we are importing it through Total Connect, Datorama will understand this is a marketing data. It has campaign placements, clicks, and those sort of data. It will gonna map it to the centralized data model. Now the third case is, let's say we are getting a weather data or a marketing geographic data, which is not exactly a marketing data. It could be a temperature range data, and that has nothing to do with marketing. So even though we import that in our Datorama will not be able to identify what this data is, because this is not marketing data. So that is where the light connect comes into the picture. If it is not a marketing data, what you have to do is, so in case of the technical and marketing vendors and Total Connect, Dataroma will gonna import the data and then it will gonna map the fields to the centralized data model, because it know that it is a marketing data and my data model is of marketing data. But if you are importing through a light connect, obviously Dataroma will not be able to understand that data because it is not a marketing data. What it will gonna do is, let's say that Excel file contains 10 new fields and those are not available in the centralized data model. So Dataroma will gonna create 10 custom fields in the centralized data model and then connect those fields to those 10 custom fields. Now we have a capability to, if we are importing any more data and if we have to map that data to those custom fields, we can do that. Now those 10 fields will gonna act as a part of the centralized data model. So let's take an example of Excel. So let me quickly show you. So let's say I have a Facebook ads data. Now, obviously, Facebook has a connector available in Dataroma, but for this demo purpose, let's assume Facebook does not have a connector available in Dataroma. And this is the kind of data which, my Facebook or marketing team has exported from Facebook, and then they have given it to me. So if you can see, they have a date, they have a country, they have a campaign data here. So you can see the campaign ID, campaign name, start date, end date. Then the next are media buy. So media buy name, media buy ID. Any typical marketer would understand what these terminologies are. And then we have the placements data. So what is a placement? Placement is something on a site, on a newspaper, in a magazine. If we have purchased a space to put our ad there, that is our placement. And at the end, it has convergence data. So you can see they have convergent tag key, convergent tag name, convergent tag group, booking type, and total convergence. So it is a convergent tag data which we are trying to import. So let's see if AI is able to help us. So let me select this file. Let's come here. We are already in the new. So I'm going to pick Total Connect because obviously I'm importing Excel. Let me click on browse. And let's put that file here. Okay. So now it is actually importing the data. So it will going to take a couple of seconds. So now our data is here. The entire data is here. So far, Dataroma has not done any analysis on this data. They have just get it into the system. Now let's go to the next. Now this is where the AI is happening. It is not actually importing the data. It is processing the data. So what the AI is doing, it is going through each field, each data, and trying to understand what kind of data it is. And as you can see, it is saying convergent tag data. So I have not defined what kind of a data it is. The system on its own has identified this is my convergent tag data. Now that is the first part of the power which Dataroma brings in. Second part of the data, if you see on the left hand side, all these my fields are from my Excel sheet. And as you can see on the top, there are 17 fields I had in my Excel, and all the 17 fields are mapped to the centralized data model. So on left hand side, we have our source data fields. On right hand side, we have fields from the centralized data model of Dataroma. So the system has by default mapped everything. So what I did, I just did a couple of clicks and my data is entirely mapped. The Dataroma understands what data it is and it has mapped to the system. What else more I can ask for? And let's say in any case, some of the fields are not mapped. So let's take an example here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break the booking type. And now I can filter here as well. So if I click on the map, all these my fields are mapped of my source to the centralized model. And if I click on the unmapped, this is the field which Dataroma was not able to identify and map it. And now if I want to, map it manually, all I have to do is, so on left hand side, I have to select it. And on right hand side, I have to search for booking type. Because now why booking type is available in the centralized data model of Dataroma, because it is a very well known KPI and field in the marketing. So it understands that. So let me click on that and apply. Boom. The connection is established again. So that is how typical typical marketing data you can import via Total Connect. And the power does not stop here. Let's go to the advanced next step. So while importing data, let's say you are importing an Excel data, obviously it will not be a one-time activity. You might have to do it every day, every week, every month, based upon how aggressive your marketing initiatives are and how quickly your marketing data is changing. So whenever you keep on continuously importing the data, you have features like, do you want to replace the entire data? you want to upsert, you want the incremental changes, or you want to do the complete total replace. Okay. Then let's say you are importing the around the globe data, but you want to put some filters before importing the data in the system. You don't want to do a lot of processing when the data is already in the system. So here you can create some load rules. So like I have created one load rule, remove Japan. So whenever it will gonna identify on its own where the location is, and it will gonna go to that, and wherever in the record where the location is Japan, it will gonna skip those records and bring only that data which I need. So these are some advanced features which are available when you are bringing the data through the total connect. So let me go back and discard this. And once you have, now the another question is, okay, one time I have imported the data through this Excel. Can I automate this process? And if it is a reoccurring system where you are keep on importing Excel, so Datorama provides you with 3 features. They provide you an email ID, so that will be specific to your this workspace. You have to just mail that Excel sheet to that email ID, and it will gonna automatically import exactly in this data stream. Second thing, you can establish a connection between a FTP. So as soon as you put that file on the FTP, Datorama will be able to pick it up and import it here. So and then obviously third one is you come here and manually importing the data here. And when we are dealing with the marketing and the technical vendors, the out of the box connection, they in that scenario, the data gets auto refreshed every day. So if you have established a connection between the Facebook and Datorama, every day Datorama will gonna fetch the latest data from Facebook. You don't have to do any manual work there. It is just for the total connect. So let's see an example of that. Yeah. So this is the data which I imported. I'll quickly show you here. Okay, so this was the data which we saw. This was all the mapping and advanced, and I clicked on it, and this is the data is here. So what is happening now? The Datorama has created a data stream for that particular data. Whenever you want to deal with that data, you can always come to this data stream and look into if everything is going good or if something is not going good. So that is what you can do when you are importing your data. And I'll quickly show you an example of the out of the box connector as well. So yeah, this is the one. So this is the connection I have established through the Facebook connector. So as I can see, I have provided my friend Webhouse email ID here. I have established the connection. I have provided their account. And from this step, so in first step, we import the Excel. In first step, we establish the connection to the system. The second step is same. Again, mapping of the data. So now, since it's a Facebook data, obviously Datorama understands it. It will gonna map the entire data to the data model. So you can see that 49 out of 98 fields are already mapped. So if you have created any custom field in your Facebook analytics tool, so Datorama will not be able to understand, but then again, you can manually map it. Otherwise, most of the work will be done here. And then again, if you go to the advanced tab, similar features are given. So just the first steps is different, whether you are importing an Excel or you have established a connection. Rest everything, the entire journey is same. So that's how we get our data into the Datorama through these data streams. And then as Shatul said, the next is harmonization. So where you can literally harmonize your data. So one example is, let's talk about the pattern. So if I go to my Facebook data again, you can see my campaign name is like a code. So there are some numeric values, then there is a hyphen, then there is an age group, then there is a hyphen, then there is an awareness tab word, and then there is a 320 into 50. So this is a typical practice in digital marketing. The campaign name usually contains the entire information. So the first one you see is my code for my campaign. The second one you see is the age group I'm targeting. Third one is what is the intention of that campaign. I want to run it for awareness. For some rows, you will see it is a brand safety. And last is the size of my my campaign. What kind of what size of template or banner I'm putting. So that's usually that happens in marketing data. The informations are clubbed together in one field. But if you want to separate that in Datorama and use them as individual individual fields, that we can do. So I have defined a pattern here. So this is my Facebook ads pattern, and if I open it, I'm going to take a second. So now you can see I have divided that into 4 parts. Now Dataroma understands if it is a campaign name, the first is the campaign code, second is the target audience, third is the objective, and fourth is the placement size. And now these will gonna act as a 4 different fields. I can now put filter and I can put analytics on the target audience. I don't need a separate field for that. Dataroma will gonna take care of that. So that is pattern. Then you can do the harmonized dimensions. So what harmonized dimensions do is, so if we are importing data across many channels, and let's say you want to see a centralized or unified view on country level. So then you can define country as a harmonized dimension here. And so the basic granularity will be the country, and on country, the Dataroma will gonna start accumulating data across all the channels. Okay, the next is dimensions. So dimensions are something which we don't measure. So those are alpha, mostly alpha or alphanumeric keywords. There's like a string, and then you can do a lot of operations on dimensions. And then the measurements are the KPIs which we measure. These are the numerical values. So this is all you can do on the connect and mix. And I'll quickly walk you through the analyze and act as well. So now our data is into the system. We have imported that Facebook data. We have imported Twitter data. We have imported Google campaign data. Now next is what? So before going to the visualization, before creating the dashboard, we have to make sure that the data is correct. So what we do is there is a feature provided as pivot tables, and pivot tables, sometimes we create some pivot tables to do the quality check of that data. So let's say I have created one. Yeah, so let's open this one. So let's say I've imported that Facebook data, and now I can create a pivot table here. So before going to visualization, I know the data is correct. I can see all the field in an Excel format. I can do some manipulations like we can do in the Excel. So if I go to the setting, you can filter which fields you want to see, which you don't want to see, rows and values. So typical like any pivot table which we use in the Excel, similar something goes here. So that is how we do the quality check of our data. And the another key feature I want to highlight in analyze and act is the goals. So you can define goals for your campaign. So let's say I want to reach this level of conversion rate. I want to reach this level of CTR. So those kind of goals you define. As soon as those goals are met across your channels, system will gonna notify you that okay, your goal is met. You might want to put a pause on your campaigns and don't spend more money on the Facebook and ads and Twitter ads. So this is what we can do here. Second is the activation center. So based on our goals, we can define some actions here as well. And literally Dataroma has the capability to pause the campaign on Facebook if your goal is already met. So you don't have to go to the Facebook and pause it from there. You can define those actions in Dataroma. And since Dataroma has a out of the box connection through the Facebook, which we defined through the admin access, it will be able to do it. So these are the two prime factors, prime features in analyze and act. And the last is visualize. So this is where the magic happens. This is where we build the charts. So since we are already running off time, we'll quickly just showcase you how the dashboards look like. So let me open a dashboard which I have created, and let's go to the edit mode. Sorry, Shatil, I'm stealing this from you just to save time.
No problem, Vikas.
So this is a typical, dashboard which we have created for demo purpose, and you can see that, so how does a typical work? You come to a page, and let's say you want to add one more chart here, so you have to click on plus. As soon as you click on plus, you see on left-hand panel there are so many chart types which are available, which you can do. You want a bar chart, you want a line chart, you want a table chart, pies, maps, bubbles, goals, typically any type of chart which you have seen in your life, it is available here. All you have to do is you have to pick that chart. So it will gonna it has put a placeholder for you, and then all you have to do is you have to put a data into it. So let's say I want to see my lead count. So lead count, or maybe let's say media cost. Sometimes it takes a couple of seconds to refresh the data, but yeah, that's how you can filter your fields, and you can put it here. So I'll quickly move to the top. Yep. So this is one of the chart which I have created. And let's say if so this, you can see the leads by sources. So let me close this. And let me quickly select this one. So what I've done here is, you can see the lead counts are shown by the lead sources. So how many leads are there from Facebook, how many leads are from website, how many are from LinkedIn. And now if you observe here, now this chart is not based on one source. And now you don't need to define that I want to, select the data from that particular source. Now you have imported all your 10 or 20 or 50 sources in Datorama. Now Datorama has that entire data. Now Datorama will gonna talk on the KPIs. So now when you say lead count, Datorama will give you lead count across all your sources. Now, though you can put a filter here, and then if you, let's say you don't want to see the 10 sources, in some case you only want to see the 5 sources, then there is a capability you can put a filter. Okay, only consider these sources. But now from here, everything is a unified view. All the KPIs which we'll see will be across all the all the channels which you are dealing with. So from here, you can see the lead sources across all the channels, opportunities across all the channels, leads and opportunities by sources. There's a comparison chart you can do, amount by sources. So now let's say your leads are into the Facebook and Twitter, but your opportunity amount data is in your CRM. So those are two different channels. But what we have done here is, we have bought our Facebook and Twitter data here, and we have also bought our CRM data here. So now we understand which lead came from which source and how many revenue which that lead has generated. So now I know for sure my Facebook has generated that amount of opportunities for me. This is my website, this is my LinkedIn. So now you can see the unified view which we are getting. Now these amount by stages, like on my opportunities, where the amount is as per the stage, where now these my leads by stages, leads by campaign. So now what we are doing is, we are giving a unified view to our executives. Now this is a dashboard, which you can show your executives or your top level leadership. That will going to help us to see everything on one screen. And from here, they can take a decision. Okay, Facebook is doing really good, but my referral is not doing that great, or I might be spending a lot of money on my referral. So let's cut down the referral amount and let's give it to Facebook, so that I can generate more revenue. This wouldn't be have possible if somebody has done that all the accumulation and give them a clear picture. Obviously the person who is handling referral might be showing year-to-year growth in their referral program, and the Facebook guy might be showing year-to-year growth in percentage, but there was no direct comparison between them. But now here, the executives can do the direct comparisons. And as we discussed earlier, there's not much effort went when we are creating this dashboard. So the success of Datorama is here. Every data analytics tool can do the visualization for you. No challenge in that. But how do you reach to that visualization is the key parameter of your success. Are you taking 10 days or 10 resources worth of effort to reach to this screen? Or are you just reaching it a couple of days, 2 days or 3 days with just one marketer who doesn't need to know the development skills, and he can build that dashboard for you? So that is where the Datorama power comes in. And so this is all about visualization. And the last part we want to cover is the marketplace. So marketplace is again like a app store, which is available on Android, iOS, App Exchange, which is available on Salesforce. So what some of the developers or the community or some of the companies have done is, they have created apps particularly for Datorama, and then they are publishing it on the marketplace. So let's say you want to bring the Facebook data into the Datorama, and then you have to build a very beautiful dashboard containing all the KPIs Facebook contains and show it to the executive. But you don't have time or efforts to build that dashboard. What the first suggestion is to come to marketplace and search for, let's say I want to search for Facebook. As soon as I search for Facebook, there are two options available. So one is the Smart Lens and one is the Page Insight. So what is a Smart Lens? Smart Lens are the predefined dashboard pages which are created. And as soon as you install it in your org, most of the KPIs, so let's open it. So some of the KPIs, some of the charts are already created in this. You don't have to create that also from scratch. All you have to do is you have to establish a connection with Facebook, get the data in, do the QC in analyze and act. And once you are on the visualize screen, you can just get this smart lens, and this smart lens will gonna get installed in your org, and it will gonna automatically detect, okay, there is a Facebook connection available. It will gonna fetch the data and it will gonna create the dashboard on its own. And trust me, all the KPIs which you as a marketer or your senior leadership might be looking for, that will be already available in that smart lens. So again, more power to marketer here. Again, we are saving a lot of time and a lot of efforts. And this marketplace is really, really vast. It has a lot of almost apps for most of all the marketing channels we deal with. And sometimes some of the apps come very handy and saves a lot of effort. So this is all about, what Datorama looks like. And if you want to know more about Datorama, there is a platform called as Shatul pinged on the chat, platform.datorama.com login, where you can go there. It's again like a trailhead where they provide you some of the learning modules, and then you can also request for a demo instance like this, and where you can do your practice. So that's all from us. Shatul, Anil, do we have any pending questions?
Yes, because there are a couple, but first, can you search in your marketplace for a connector named KIXIE?
You mean the data stream connector, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So there is a question from the audience. I think Sunil has asked this question, and he's wondering if we can connect KIXIE data.
Can you spell it again, Anil?
KIXIE.
No, it is
No,
not.
we don't have.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah,
what
Anil,
would you suggest to Sunil in this case?
Yeah. So Sunil, now you have two options. Either, you can export the data from KIXIE and you can import it in Datorama via the Total Connect. And if this is a typical marketing data, it will going to understand on its own. It will going to connect it to the centralized data model. And then you can automate the refreshing of data as well through the FTP or email. The file will going to keep on continuously. Now there is one more option, which is an advanced option. And let's say out of the box connector is not available. Your system does not has the capability to export the data in Excel, or you do not want to export the data into the Excel due to some data security reasons. Now there is an advanced capability in Datorama is that we can build our custom connectors as well. All we need is, so the KIXIE should have public APIs available through which it will be able to show the data to any third-party system, and then we can build a connector here. And we have to just map it. That needs some development skills, API development skills, where it will going to keep on fetching the data through APIs, and the rest, the next journey continues from there. So that needs some efforts, but yeah, that is an option too.
Okay, and I think that's the answer even Vaibhav gave. So Vaibhav, thank you so much, buddy, for answering almost all the questions and saving us time. But I think there was one question which was not answered, and it was from Vignesh. And Vignesh is asking whether measurements in Dataroma are similar to the calculated fields in Tableau.
So measurements are typically any field which contains a numeric value. Any KPI which you can measure, those are measurements. So like cost, any dollar value, any number values are measurement. And then Datorama has its own capability to, define calculated measurements. So let's say there is a field in your source called as media cost. It is a typical field in your source. But you want to calculate one more as a media commission, which is not available as a field in your data source. So that you can define as a calculated measurement. You can define a formula based on the media cost. It will going to keep calculating media commission for you. So just to answer your question, Tableau measurements. So measurements are typical measurements like any other data analytics. And then it has calculated measurements as well, like Tableau, where you can define your own measurements as well based on the measurements which are already available in your data source. And the best part is these measurements and all these, you don't have to define again and again. Once you define it, it will be available across your workspace and you can use it in any data source.
Okay, thank you, Vikas. Jayant, we unfortunately could not discuss more on connecting Dataroma with Salesforce Marketing Cloud, but I think Vikas showed us an example of how you can bring in Marketing Cloud data and visualize it and slice and dice it. But probably that's an idea for us to pursue in one of the future Dataroma session. Thank you for highlighting this to us.
Yeah.
Ritik, you already have got an answer for a question that you don't need access to Salesforce Marketing Cloud in order to access Dataroma platform.
Yeah.
It's an independent platform, which is now recently integrated within Marketing Cloud as well.
Yeah.
I think those were the only questions that I gauged through the chat. If there are any further questions, please feel free to reach out to us on any of our social media channels or write an email directly to us, and we'll do our best to answer those questions. If you don't know the answers, we will try to reach out to the experts in this area and help you get an answer. So let's jump to the Kahoot quiz. Vikas, over to you again.
Yep. Just give me a second. Okay. So before moving to quickly, I just quickly want to surf through the Salesforce one. So there are a lot of Salesforce out of the box connectors available in Datorama. We have for Marketing Cloud, we have for CDP, SQL, Marketing Cloud Legacy, and there is a new connector as well. We have with Order Management, Social Studio. So there are a lot of connectors available when it comes to Salesforce tools. And yeah, maybe we can plan one more session where we can talk in detail about these Salesforce connectors for sure in upcoming days. Thank you.
Because we have one more question from Vikrant. He's saying that if somebody is not good at creating the pivot tables in the Excel, how would that person be able to create dashboards and reports by zone in Dataroma?
Yeah, so as we said earlier, Datorama has their own learning platform like Trailhead, where it's all click and drop. So they have provided some modules where you can learn how you can enhance your skills in creating those dashboards and creating pivot tables. So if you go through those modules, I think any person with no knowledge of tech or even not from IT industry can also learn how to do those. Yeah, so that is a way we can go forward. Okay, thank you. I'll just quickly stop my sharing for a minute so that I can bring Kahoot up. Okay, yep, and